Well, there's no more grass for Penta to come crawling out of as the plane is in the air over the sunny deserts of Miramar. Let's jump to the map, and I'll hand it over to Matcham and Godspeed to take you through all the action.
Well, here we go. We got the plane coming up over the islands. Going to end just south of El Pozo. Pretty centered up, so everybody's just going to make a very pleasant drop onto the I almost said the island this time, but I guess it's more of a peninsula. We don't know what the rest of Miramar looks like. Question comes into play. We saw a hot drop to start inside the last game, or the last map. Now curious to see if anybody's going to be contesting for position this time around.
It doesn't really look. Wait, Livid actually and 64 Up are both very much going towards Monty. So that is something that I'm interested to see if it becomes an issue. If Livid has to deal with two set man, that would be. It
looks like that's the case. This is a commitment.
So on both maps now, it seems that Livid has found themselves contested or contesting another team.
And see, this is why I like multiple groups. There's no like, oh, here's your 16 team set drop locations. It's changing up all of the time. Every single day, there's a new set of drops that you have to contend with.
I mean, the one thing I can tell you right now is STK can kind of consolidate on Luke. Well, first of all, they can hold out Illusion if they want to, just to their northeast, and then they can consolidate on Luke, and then they can cross and kind of slowly move their way throughout the hills and mountains there. So they're still in a good position. They still are in a fragging position if they want to be. We'll see how they play that. But Oath, meanwhile, coming in from the north side, this is another strong position for another strong team.
Making an approach. We do have Wolf. Takes a little bit of damage, retreating back, trying to feed that information back over towards his teammates. These guys have been no rush to make their way and make their push yet. So they are bumping into Liberate, and which is a not very often contested compound, but looks like both these teams have their sights set on it. Liberate trying to defend it out, but a nice little sneaky play off to the side where they do have ice tech position, which has come up big for them. But Exodus also wanting to get involved in this as they're approaching back behind Oath, really forcing Oath's hand to continue to run up, right up into the face of Liberate. And Liberate's trying to figure out what the hell is going on because they're just standing here while people are running at him in the open, but good shots coming out of both sides.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Wolf actually may have even got that knock, but Taylor J didn't even let him finish his spray, so Exodus going to pick up hard Oath from behind, and now it's just up to Sniggers and Bale and where they want to go, and this circle is quite... It's quite packed. They really don't have much to play aside from this dip that's right in front of them and this divot on the dirt road, but it's going to be tough as a two-man. I'll tell you that right now.
Running right over here next to Illusion. I don't think that they're expecting Illusion to also be playing a little bit of damage control at this point. Going to spot out the Marauder, rolling down right next to him. Wants to be patient, goes for the spray, knocks him out. Good spray coming out from Icy Flex. So now it's going to be everything coming out terrible for Oath as they go down in 16th place.
Yeah, just like that. They're down. One last game and found themselves in last this time with no kills. That was rough for Oath. It was really unfortunate that Exodus happened to be behind them because they were in a good position to fight for that compound.
Exodus is continuing their charge back over, but we saw Dodge and 303 doing some long-range shots at each other just a second ago. Looks like that is still continuing on at this point, as Monty does have himself a spot inside the safe zone, and the rest of Dodge are just continuing to harass everybody on 303. The D-Rich finds himself a vehicle and is just trying to get out of this position. Problem is no matter which way he goes, he's got somebody that's waiting for him. If he continues on this path, he's going to bump into 64 up. So now it's just a matter of which direction do you go. It's almost like one of those pick your doors, your destiny waits behind it. So now he's just got to figure out, does he go north? Does he go west? At this point, I would almost go west just to 9 points because there is no clean path into this.
Yeah, it seems like all those doors for him are actually just locked because he has nowhere to go. It's going to be very rough for him to move, especially as the soul is still rotating in the blue. But look at this. What a molly.
I love
just
it.
Cooking him.
It just never gets tired. I love to see that every single time. Exodus making their push-ups, continuing the rush over. New circle has popped. This position is not inside the safe zone, so Exodus wants to make a push very quickly back over towards Liberate. They do manage to go ahead and flush out Ice Tech, but with the circle popping the way it has, that's very favorable for teams like Atheris, Duel, ATC, Shoot to Kill, Livid, and Wildcard. Didn't see it. No, D-Rich is still alive. He just hopped in a vehicle and he just sent it to center of the circle. He's trying his hardest here, but I think that he's probably about to go down. Yeah, Keenan finally does pick him up. And that's going to be 303 going out in 15.
Yeah, and this circle actually has quite a bit of open area as well for these teams to kind of get caught in. So I think if this starts to slowly center where on its current center, it's going to be rough for a lot of these teams on the edge because they're going to have nowhere to go.
do have Exodus trying to make their path back down next to Illusion. Illusion does have themselves a pretty defensible location, but we've seen them post up inside the shack, and that's not necessarily the best place to be. Sometimes all these Molotovs standing out in the open. Icyflex is going for the spray and has to retreat away from it. Hardship's getting away with that one. I'm kind of surprised. Extra still continuing a very aggressive push up. Taylor J finally gets spotted out. Does go down. Now it's going to be Drassel walking right up into the face. He goes down as well. Now it is just Pat, Cass, and Punage. Two different angles trying to figure out what they can do. See if maybe they can salvage their teammates. See if maybe they can get something, but it's going to be a very difficult push now as there is just a full-on defensive line in front of them.
That knock on a Drassel was absolutely huge for Illusion. Had they not gotten that, he could have been in a position where he could get a knock or even two, really start to push Illusion back. But now it's really just Pat and Punage when they're back against the blue. Nothing really to do about it.
Pat, what do you got left in the tank? He's just got to run. He's got to vacate the premise. He is stuck outside and in the blue. New circle does pop, and it is at least close to his position. He just needs to get line of sight away from Illusion. Illusion is playing this a little bit more defensive right now, not making a very aggressive play, so he might be able to sneak into this one.
Oh, Pat, he actually does.
Oh, look at that.
He somehow sneaks in. I was not expecting that.
Illusion, yeah, they look back the other direction, and so he at least
they actually just completely left.
A little bit longer. Yeah. Now, here's the problem. With the circle, there are a lot of teams that still need to make their way inside the safe zone, and there's not a lot of good terrain to play. It's pretty out in the open, and these teams are stacked up next to each other, so it is going to be a run and gun to safety. Starting that off, it looks like it's going to be a Theris trying to collapse around Duel's location. Meanwhile, 64 up is still playing back behind this, just praying everybody clears him a path, it looks like.
Yeah, this is a rough circle. I mean, I as I said before, if it starts to close in around the center there or a little more towards the west, it's going to be quite open, and that's exactly what it did. And now all these teams Duel, I mean, there's all these guys, including the Livid, the last members of Livid are gonna have to go in, and Lister goes down to Bully.
In a very cheeky little spot that he's hiding out at. Nobody was expecting that one. Cherry's playing around the other position on this, waiting to see how we see a Theris push into this point. Got himself a very defendable location. The problem with it is they're just creeping right by it, and I don't think that he had line of sight onto it. Bardonis comes up, and nobody was expecting that. Quick, easy takedown. Now retreating away from this position takes a lot of damage. Repositioning around the outside of it, seeing if maybe he can get the flank onto this. But got to be very careful. With this firefight starting up, a couple other people might opt into third-partying this. I like the prep from Cherry. Go ahead, toss the grenades up, try to stall this. Good spray coming out, takes another one down, goes for the peek back down, goes exactly where they're at, using the windows, tries to hold it through, but Duel goes down in 11.
Just like that. Very well played to the two members of Atheris, honestly. That could have been a hairy situation, but they just wiped out Duel. But again, that's just another.
Oh, Livid. Not like this. Not like this.
Caden and Soup. I feel like they needed to move much earlier than that.
I think they were trying to go for a res or something whenever we glanced over here. I think we saw it coming up on the end of it, but now it is going to be terrible for anybody that's trying to approach out from that. Remember, T8 opted into this dip very early, and the circle's right on the edge of it now, so everybody is looking right at their backside while they're trying to clear and make sure nobody pushes them from the close angle directly across.
Yeah, this seems to be the beginning of the end here for Atheris. Mardones and Darth are just getting absolutely picked apart. There's the knock,
Not a lot of things. There's a lot of roads still that are kind of holding out the outside parts of the circle, and there's just no terrain, no cover to be found.
There's nothing there. Yeah, there's nothing there. And although they are going to go out, they had a really good fight against Duel, who, again, I got to mention, with such a talented roster, Duel's still kind of, disappointing showings in these games.
Yeah, I think that there's a big question mark on what's going on with them. Atheris does go down, as it's going to be T8 and Shoot to Kill both looking back over towards them. Shoot to Kill do manage to get a down, I think, back over towards one of the T8 members. I couldn't tell. I think it was a flush as well. But we do have hard shifts now being eyed, as it's going to be Liberate moving a touch closer, trying to go for a very centered spot into the circle.
I mean, he's going to make it there, or rather, they're going to make it there, but this is still kind of rough. They're in between a lot of teams now, and I mean, this was kind of their best play. I like the fact that they went to execute it, but they're going to be in a little bit of a rough spot here.
Well,
once SDK and ATC,
Well,
Yeah.
T8 is just like right on the other side of that hill. The moment they decide to move a little bit closer, this could be very bad for Liberate.
Well, that's the issue. They're so focused on ATC and STK potentially that, T8 is just going to be right on the other side of this. They can hear those shots.
They're not moving aggressive for it. I think it's because Shoot to Kill is kind of holding back the other members of the team. Grizzly's also going for a position back over next to where I believe the Hardships was. So he's going to take a couple of hot shots at them. The Hardships found themselves in a very difficult position as it's just starting to be multiple pushes onto several teams. As Illusion also pushing back over towards ATC right now. Marcelic is down, and now Winnie finding themselves in a difficult position as multiple members of Illusion are right on top. Now we wrong time. Tries to go for the spray. Sometimes, again, it's just about the timing.
And Pat finally goes down. He was there for so long.
Hey,
Shoot to Kill.
He bought position points.
Yeah, and Shoot to Kill is in such a good position in the circle. Again, second game in a row.
We have Shoot to Kill that's over towards the north, and everybody, based off of positioning of Shoot to Kill and the shots that they're really inflicting on these teams, are being forced slowly and steadily back to the southeast. And now all these other teams are having to contend with each other. It's just a constant herd coming in from Shoot to Kill, while everybody else is just trying to cling to life. Finally, T8 steps up over.
That's what you were talking about. Yep, that's exactly what you were talking about. I mean, I'm not... Liberate really, they didn't really have a choice. I like the fact that they sent it there early. They knew that it was clean, and that was the only option they had. It's just it just wasn't a great option, even though it was kind of their only play. So,
speaking of not great options, Hardships just kind of stuck out in their hay bales. Meanwhile, Liberate just got to send it. They're going to get taken down. Malouk's going to go ahead and get the spot. T8 still just trying to vie for that center point. They really want to play it. Hardships trying to creep up next to them, but information should be fed over to the other members of T8. Good shot coming out from Icy Flex. They're going to get a good connection onto this. That's really going to stall Hardships on their point. Meanwhile, towards the north, Shoot to Kill starting to get a little bit more comfortable in the position point that they're playing. Icy Flex tries to hold them back, and he does go down. And everything is starting to turn up Shoot to Kill towards the north as T8 being continually funneled back over towards that hill as well.
Yeah, and this is what STK likes to do. This is how they like to kind of strangle the circle and very slowly kind of take control. And the other thing that's huge about this is the fact that, we saw Oath go out very early. They went out in 16. So STK can very easily just take the lead back.
Chuba tries to go for the shots, but Grizzly's gonna connect. And then there were two teams remaining, and it's gonna be T8 who has been fighting valiantly for this hillside. And it's gonna be Shoot to Kill that's been playing in control of everything else. Beams takes a couple of shots, buys himself some space, starting to throw out the utility to see if maybe he can slow them down long enough. Maybe trying to buy some time for the rest of his team to regroup, but look at that back flank coming out from Shoot to Kill. Uncivil trying to get into a position off to the side, seeing if maybe he can take down Beams. Grenades lands right next to Beams, and he's got to be uncomfortable about that one. So you can see where the center is going to be at, and it is firmly in Shoot to Kill's control. T8 playing next to the edge, has to figure out how they want to make the play. Weeum coming up at a big point for his team. Gonna get the shot back over towards Uncivil. Curdy gonna have an angle to try to protect it. No, he's not. So it looks like we might see a little bit of push off to one angle. T8 looks like they might have found their opening that they were so desperately wanting, and it comes at the hands of Weeum. Pretty Curdy still playing low. I don't know if he's been spotted out just yet. The other members of T8 trying to encroach right up next to Shoot to Kill. They do get spotted out. That's a return knock and a quick flush coming out from Pretty Curdy, finally revealing his position towards the center with that point. Grizzly looking like he's prepping up the grenades, trying to toss it back over. That could be pretty good depending on how the bounce goes. Not going to be enough, though. Return grenades coming through. Purdy's decided to go active. Move back over next to Weeum. See if maybe he can take out the guy that's trying to hold down the rest of his team. Once he hears some shots, that might be his moment to strike. How patient can he play this? Weeum now moving back over towards Alo's position, and this little bit of a hill is doing so much work for Shoot to Kill right now.
T8, to be honest.
There it is. Purdy comes up big.
Purdy,
wow,
man.
Beautiful spray. Purdy just racks them all up near on instantly. Shoot to Kill gets their round win and gets 10 kills to boot.
Money and power, respect my mind, no die from last shot. I pray my dick get big as the apple time, so I can fuck the world for 72 hours.